right. I'm here today with Megan Thomas. She's the founder of the Social Reserve. How you doing today, Megan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. So Megan, the Social Reserve, tell me a little bit about the Social Reserve.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do social media management and consulting for folks in the hospitality industry and service brands.
Awesome. Awesome. So the hospitality industry, do you have a background in hospitality? How did you get into the space?
I do. So in college, I started out working at the front desk, and as you know, that's kind of the hub for all of the different places in the hotel. So I really got to see behind the scenes with banquets and F&B, all of the things, and moved my way up to AGM. And I just really fell in love with all of it, especially the client experience.
Awesome. So what made you leave hospitality and kind of branch out on your own?
So obviously I love hospitality, but when COVID hit, it was really kind of a scary thing. And everything was so uncertain that I just kind of wanted to step back and take what I loved, which was the customer experience side, and just help businesses do that, just kind of in my own right, and help them get to be seen online.
That is awesome. So, now you're in this space, right? You're in the social space. So what kind of, with the Social Reserve, what kind of things are you focusing on right now?
Right now, we are just focusing on really getting properties to be seen. A lot of people typically used to go to the hotel website and just use Google, but now we're really seeing a trend of people looking at Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of the different social media platforms to see what they can expect from their hotel stay, and to see if that's even a place where they want to go, and maybe even what their friends are saying about it. So we're really wanting to make sure that properties are getting seen in a new way.
And so when, let's talk platforms, right? I mean, you just named off about a half a dozen of them. So if I'm a hotelier, right, which platforms am I most focusing on right now as far as where people are going around looking?
Sure. So my favorite is Instagram. I think that it does a great job of kind of combining all of the other platforms together, right? So Facebook is really good to post information, and that's a great place to be too, because obviously there's more people there than any other platform. But Instagram kind of combines the quick post ideas of Twitter. You can do those in stories, and then Reels are more like TikTok. So you have all of the different platforms kind of in one on Instagram, and things tend to be a little bit friendlier over there. And it's a really good place to build community as well. So if a hotel wants to get started in one place, I would probably start with Instagram and Facebook, and just kind of share the same types of content on those.
Okay. So, if you're, consulting with somebody, what kind of content should people be focusing on these days? I mean, I think obviously that changes all the time.
It does. It definitely changes all the time. And depending who you ask, you're going to get a million different answers. I definitely say start with storytelling. So even if you're a big brand hotel, your hotel in your area is going to have a very different story than anyone else. So tell the story of your location, what's going on in your area that would attract people, who works in your hotel, what they do, introduce people, and really give people a great behind the scenes look of the story of your hotel, in addition to user generated content. So if someone posts something on their stories or on their feed, tag it, use it. That's going to show other people, oh, well, they're having fun there, so I would too. And that's what it's going to look like. Again, it helps set that expectation for what to expect when they get to your property. And also anything that is just unique or different about your hotel that would get people excited about coming.
I think that's absolutely great. And, as a former GM myself, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that sounds wonderful, but like, who's doing this? Right. Or like, how do I know it's important, right? How do I make it happen?
Well, I mean, there's lots of different ways. So you can have someone at your hotel, if they are savvy on social, they can hop in. The main thing is you want to just make sure that you're consistent. So if you pick one person to kind of headline it, you want to make sure that it stays consistent. You want a consistent brand voice. So make sure that it's someone that has been with you for a while, who really understands. There's lots of information out there. So you want to be careful who you're listening to, but as long as you stay consistent and true to your hotel, like you should be good. And then there's obviously lots of people like myself who do consulting that if you have questions, we're open for that as well.
Okay. And so, one of the things that I know a lot of people think about or talk about right now is, my online reputation, right? It takes 2 seconds for a TikTok to go viral and all of a sudden you're in trouble, right? Like,
right.
Is that something that you specialize in, or is that something large right now?
Yes, absolutely. I think especially as the online space and the social space grows, being cognizant of your property, what's being said, both good and bad, is really important, because if you leave the bad things out there without addressing them, people are going to see that. And people are going to think, oh, well, they don't really care. And that is not a good look. So you definitely want to make sure that you or whoever is assisting with your social can hop in and respond to any of those comments and really turn it around. So even if people see that something bad happened, they can also see this property cares and they're going to take care of it. And that's also a great way to hop in and surprise and delight your potential guests, right? If something bad happens, you could, give them a discount or give them a free stay or whatever. So people can see the true caring nature of your property.
Love it. I love it. So what kind of things are hot right now on social media, right? Like what's resonating with people today?
Reels or TikTok, if you're there. But Reels they're mindless, right? Like people go to social because they want to kind of check out for a little bit. I am on social media all day long. And when I get done with my workday, the first thing I do is check social, right? Like my own personal stuff. Like I will scroll through Reels and I'll see stuff that I want to laugh at or just something mindless. So definitely make sure that in any strategy you use, you include just fun things as well. But yeah, Reels are for sure where it's at right now.
Okay. And if I'm not comfortable recording Reels or things like that, what other kind of content is working right now?
Well, if you don't want to record yourself, I would still recommend recording videos around the hotel. Okay. Like it doesn't have to be of you or even, your employees if you're not comfortable or if they're not comfortable. But video, it's going to be video. You can do things like carousel posts, like different pictures. Those are going to keep people on your profile longer. They're not going to perform as well as a reel. They're not going to get the same kind of reach and eyeballs on your content. So you could do like a point of view of checking in, what it looks like, right? Like you can walk through the lobby or through the hall or show different amenities in your hotel. But video is for sure where it's at.
Okay. And if I'm trying to build a connection, right? I mean, videos will get eyes on my property. And I think that's absolutely awesome. If I'm trying to build a connection with people before they get here, while they're here, when they're gone, what kind of things am I doing?
Ask questions. So if you're posting on stories, ask your audience what they want to see. Like the best way to get to know someone is to talk to them. And that can seem intimidating if you have, 100,000 followers or 1,000 followers, right? How am I going to get to know everybody? But ask them. Just post a story and ask for their recommendations, what they're excited about, and really open that conversation because people are going to want to share their opinion. And when you actually respond back to them, they're going to be excited because they're like, oh my goodness, this huge hotel or this hotel at all contacted me and they got back to me and they're having a conversation, and that's going to get people really excited to visit your hotel.
Awesome. So you talk about questions and engaging. Are there any questions you've seen work well lately?
A lot of people are more excited now than ever to travel after COVID for experiences. So asking people what they're excited to do in your city. Like when you get to the hotel, what are you most excited to go do? What are your favorite restaurants that you're looking forward to try? Anything in the local community is really going to get people excited and really get them talking.
I think that's awesome. So, one of the things you mentioned a little bit ago was surprising and delighting, right? Those little things that you can do to make a difference. And being in hotels, we talk about this all the time, right? Like, what are the little things that we can do to make, I've worked in so many different brands, right? The memorable moments, the surprise and delights, whatever it is. So talk to me about that in relation to social media.
So if someone comes on and you have posted a picture of your bar area, for example, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to get there and I had a guest who used to be obsessed with Heinekens, right? And so every time he would show up, I would have a Heineken in his room. And that was something that kept him incredibly loyal. So if somebody comes on and they're like, oh, I can't wait to grab a Heineken, put it on his profile, right? So when he checks in, you can be like, oh, here's a card for a Heineken. Or if anything that they mention that is their favorite, like if you're asking those questions in stories or in your captions as a call to action and they respond, make a note of that, like almost reward them, right? For engaging with your brand, for engaging with your hotel online, and go out of your way to notice that and build that experience from even before they get to your property.
I love that. I love that. So, in your mind, right? I mean, you're seeing this from somebody who's been in hospitality, somebody who services hospitality. Why is that so important right now?
Because people can go anywhere, right? And you want to build that relationship with them. And if you're building that relationship before they even get there, they feel confident in the fact that they booked with you, because there are so many options. And when you're talking to them and if you're engaging them from before they get to your property until after, because they're going to, surely they will mention you. It's very frequent. People get there and, oh my gosh, I got this thing when I got to the hotel and it's great. So you keep that relationship going, and that is going to build loyalty. It humanizes your brand. It makes you seem more of a person than just a building. And people fall in love with that idea, especially, with people starting to now stay with Airbnb and Verbos and all of the things. You really get a leg up if you're providing that experience for them before, during, and after their stay. You're going to be seen, like I said, an Airbnb is more humanized because it's a smaller operation. So if you can make yourself look like that and show that level of attention to detail and care, then that's going to be huge for people.
I love it. I love it. So from a strategy perspective, are you using different strategies for, let's say, hotels versus restaurants versus museums, zoos, anything like that? I mean, is it similar strategies or does it change at all?
They're going to be similar. Restaurants obviously are going to be more focused on the food and the atmosphere, and some behind the scenes, like, the employees and who's pouring your drink and who's cooking your food. And with the hotels, we focus more on the local area and other places and things that you can go see and do. But again, you're still going to use the user generated content and the storytelling. Like that's going to be pretty consistent between any service-based business.
Yeah. So, I'm not a huge social media fan myself. If you look me up, you're probably just going to find my LinkedIn. Yes. So, that comes off as intimidating to a lot of people, right? So if I'm a GM, I'm not that, or a restaurant owner, I'm not that comfortable with it right now. Where do I start?
Call me. Call me. Like, I'm happy to I could talk about this all day long. Like I could just have a conversation about it all day long. There's obviously a lot of people who do similar things to what I do. You could look there, but I would say just get on and play around. Honestly, find things that you enjoy. Like Instagram is full of businesses. If you want to follow whatever you're interested in, you are going to find something on Instagram that is going to fit something that interests you. So I would say just get comfortable with it, play around with it. See what works for you, because if you are your ideal client, then it's going to make you a lot more comfortable with the platform and give you a lot more confidence to even know where to start.
Well, I think that's great advice. I mean, I think the hardest part is getting started. So are there any red flags or anything to avoid as I'm playing around, right? I get on Instagram, I start playing around. Is there anything when we start posting just to make sure we don't do?
Well, when I say get on and play around, I mean as a personal account, just to scope it out. When you're posting for your business or posting for your hotel, I would say have a strategy in place first, just so it's not off the cuff. So stories and things like that can be more fun off the cuff, but you don't really want to waste that space, and you don't want to confuse your audience, right? So if you're talking about the most random things that aren't even related to your business, your area, you're going to confuse people and they're not going to pay attention. So I would just come up with a list of 4 or 5 topics that you're going to cover. So user generated content, local businesses, behind the scenes, things like that. And then just keep, like a bowling alley, right? Like stay within those lanes and you should be fine.
Okay. That's great advice. So what do I do if I'm out there, I'm in my lanes, but I start getting some negative feedback? Like how do I handle negative feedback these days?
Well, you don't delete it. That's one. I have people that are like, can't we just remove it? But you want to respond to everything. Like odds are we're human, so we're going to have mistakes, and people want to talk about that because we're people. So they're going to go to social media because that's where they know to go, and just address it. Just show off your hospitality skills and your leadership skills by addressing, hey, we know we had this issue and this is how we're going to make it right. And if you can address that on the platforms, then you're really showcasing your care and your concern for everyone, and not just the people who are going to say nice things, because there are going to be people who say mean things and you just have to deal with it. But don't delete it because people will notice, and that's not good.
Well, and I think that's, I think that's extremely important, right? Because the knee-jerk reaction is, oh, wait a minute, I can make that go away? Mm-hmm. Oh, let's just make that go away, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think that, social media is one of those things that, everybody understands the value, or at least understands the value there. Maybe not the full value, the number of impacts it can have. But I think everybody is looking to figure out how to leverage it more in order to be able to, I think, like you said, right, impact the guest satisfaction scores, impact just really everybody's experience on property, and figure out how to leverage that. So really interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, you can also get your team involved. And so not only is it going to help your, guest experience scores and all of that, but it's really going to help the attitude and the morale of people that are on property that want to be involved. They'll get excited about being on camera, and they'll be excited about helping take your hotel to the next level. And it's fun to see employees get excited about wanting to show up, and I can grab that photo, or let me do this video. It's really fun to see them get excited.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think back to the number of guest interactions I had, and had I been on social media, or I'm going to date myself, had it been around, when I was interacting with these people, I think it would make for some absolutely amazing stories to definitely get out there. So I think we capture these stories every day, whether you're a restaurant, a hotel, regardless of what part of the hospitality industry you're in, you're capturing these stories every day. So that's great advice for getting it out there. So last thing I always like to talk about here just on the show, right, is, you've been in the industry, you started your own business now, you're servicing the industry. What kind of advice are you giving people these days, who are in and around the industry?
I think just finding new ways to surprise, delight, and connect with your audience. And right now, so many hotels are not utilizing it, utilizing social media. That get there, just get there and start building those new connections in new ways. That is going to set you apart tremendously.
I think that's great advice. I mean, just get there, right? I think that that's probably the hardest thing to do for people who aren't already participating. Right. So hopefully people have heard some things here that will help them start to get there and start to understand how important it is, and also almost how easy it is to get started with. And as long as you have the right person to help you get through this, the right person to help you post. So I love that.
Awesome.
So if somebody is looking for the right person to help out here, where are they going to find you and to find more about the Social Reserve?
Instagram is where I hang out most of the time, and that's just at the Social Reserve, or thesocialreserve.com.
Awesome. Well, I think you probably got a lot of people's attention here. So hopefully you get flooded with all kinds of communication, and we see all kinds of new sites up on social now.
Awesome. I will be looking forward to it.
Awesome, Megan. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate the insights, and best of luck to you and in your blossoming career here.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
All right, talk soon.
All right, bye.